Hi everyone, this is Archangeli. I was at the craft store on the weekend and I saw this deluxe ribbon curler by Simplicity and thought it might be an interesting tool for wig styling. So I brought it home, and here, have a look at the packaging here. It says it makes ribbon curling easy, fast, and fun. It is an electric appliance, so you'll need to plug it in. And just to compare this barrel, it's about a 1 centimeter barrel on the curling wand compared to my regular curling iron. As far as instructions go, it's just a really simple pamphlet. Basically plug it in, let it warm up, clip the ribbon at one end, wrap the ribbon around, curl it, and let it cool. The appliance is pretty simple. It's got an on-off button with an indicator light to show that it's on. There's a clip so you can pinch the ribbon or wigs. And then here there's a little rest, so when you're setting it down, it doesn't touch the table. This is a bit poorly designed because the way of where the electrical cord sits, it's going to be touching the table, but luckily the tip here, it seems to be rubber, so if it accidentally touches your table, it's not going to scorch. And it does feature a rotating barrel, which most good hairstyling implements do have. It just makes things easier when you're curling. So here's a wig that none of my dolls are wearing at the moment. Give it a spin so you can see it's got a little bit of a wave to it, but no very defined curls. Now before I do anything, I need to put in a disclaimer. You need to make sure you're using a wig that has heat-safe thermal fiber so that when you put styling implements on it, it doesn't melt the wig fibers. Companies like Leeke World, and Lutz use thermal fiber. So if your wig is from one of these companies, you're safe. If your wig is a default character wig from Volks, do not use a heat styling implement. You will melt your wig. You have been warned. Now I did start ahead. You can see this bit here that's a little straighter than the rest. I wrapped it around the curling wand and it made a tighter ringlet as opposed to the loose wave. This chunk of hair is probably too big, which is why it's not like a nice tight ringlet. So let's try with a smaller section of hair. So this is about 1 centimeter's worth of wig fiber, and I'm wearing a heat safe glove that it came with my curling wand that I use for my own hair. And I find it is useful with when I'm manipulating the wig fiber, because then I don't burn myself. I'm a bit accident prone. So there, I've wrapped it around, and with the glove I can actually hold the wig fiber right against the rod and wait a little bit. So we're going to hold this for a couple of minutes. All right, so this has been sitting for a little while. I'm going to release the hair from the wand carefully. There we go. Now the trick is to hold this curl in place for a little bit. Let the fibers cool, because that's what allows the curl that you've just put in to set. If you just let it drop right away, gravity will take hold and you'll lose everything that you just styled. There we go. So it's a nice ringlet. Bit messy, but you get the gist. Now notice that you've lost about 1/3 of the length. Can you see here? Of the hair just by putting the ringlet in. So keep that in mind when you're curling a wig like this. You will lose some length. So if you want a nice long wig with nice luscious curls, start with something longer. So I've gone ahead and put a few more curls in, and I just wanted to share a few observations. If you were going to actually curl this whole wig, I would actually suggest taking the top few wefts of the wig, clipping them out of the way, and then working with the layers on the bottom, curling those first, and clip those out of the way, and then do the top. It would make things a lot neater and a lot easier, and then you don't have things like this where the bottom is trying to entangle up with the top. Curl in the same direction. So what I mean by that is if you're going to wrap these curls, whoops, clockwise like that, do it uniformly and the same direction for every curl that you're going to do. Otherwise you're going to have mismatched curls going in all different directions and it won't look as neat and it won't look as nice. Pick a direction, go left to right and go segment by segment. And make sure you give a few seconds for each curl to cool before you let it go, and then it will stay. Because this is a thermal fiber, if you find that it's getting messy, you can comb it through, or you can completely straighten it again with a hair straightener and recurl it. If you want a more loose wave like this, which was the first bit that I did, it's almost straight actually because there was so much hair. Then use a bigger chunk of hair. This is almost 2-3 centimeter chunk of hair. Way too much if you're trying to get spiral curls. This is about a 1 centimeter piece, and this gave me nice little spirals. And if you want even tighter curls, then take an even smaller portion of hair, wrap it. Sorry, I'm going to be careful because the iron is still a bit hot. Ow! Ooh. When you've wrapped it, slide it all the way to the top so that it's nice and tight, and then release it. Because if you have it laid along the curling wand along the entire length, you're going to get more of a loose wave as opposed to a nice tight spiral. So just some final observations about this gadget. I bought it at Michael's, and for my viewers that live in Canada or the US, you can try to find this locally, and if you can get their flyers or have their mobile phone app, there's almost always a coupon for 40% off one item. So instead of paying the retail price of $30 for this gadget, I paid $18 plus tax, which is actually a really great buy if you consider how much a regular curling iron for regular hair costs. If you have a lot of wigs in your collection that have curls or waves that require a lot of maintenance, or if there's a particular style that you're trying to achieve with one of your existing wigs, this is definitely worth the investment. I've seen similar products online that are specifically marketed as doll wig curling irons, sold for a lot more money, and then you have to pay shipping on top of that. So for $18, this was a great investment. And at the very least, you'll have some really awesome looking Christmas presents. This thing was easy to use, and it delivered the results that I expected it to. And as you can see from this tutorial, it was very straightforward. Just be careful not to burn yourself. It takes proper precautions to unplug this thing and let it cool before you put it away. But otherwise, have fun with it. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.